Hi guys, welcome back to Geeks 40k channel and welcome back to the Horus Heresy for our latest battle report. Today, the legend that is Ed is back with his Death Guard. He's taking on my Ultramarines. We are doing a mission from Book 6, so this is one of the Shadow War missions, one of the campaign missions that you can do in there. And we are doing Challenge. So basically, we have just got to try to get our Warlord to kill off the other Warlord. And then we win the game straight off. If that happens, we win the game. Doesn't matter what turn it is, you win. If that doesn't happen, then we go down to secondary objectives, and attrition is one of them. So just killing off units, victory points for that kind of thing. So it's going to be quite cool. We've got 3,000 points each. So quite a large battle going on today. And it is going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. So let's go take a look at the armies. HQ for the Ultramarines. I am taking my Praetor in his Cataphractii Terminator armour. He comes equipped with a Chain Fist and a combi weapon with a Melter. Next HQ choice, I am taking my Chaplain. So this guy's been upgraded to Artificer armour, has a Refractor Shield and has a Plasma Pistol. Troops from Ultramarines today, I am taking a 10-man tactical squad, the Sergeant with Artificer armour and a Power Weapon in a Rhino. Exactly the same loadout for the second of the troop choices. Good for holding on to objectives at the back of the board or scooting up the board and taking objectives if needed. Over to elites, I am taking my Invictaris squad. So these guys all come with their boarding shields and their Legatine axes. Quite nice to get them into combat. They can chop up most things. Next elite choice, I am taking my 5-man Terminator squad, all in their Cataphractii Terminator armour with Chain Fists. Nice for getting into tanks and cutting up some of their vehicles. And finally, for the elites, I'm taking a Contemptor Dreadnought Talon. So the guy on the right has a Melt Gun and a Power Fist, and the other Contemptor Dreadnought has the 2 Horus Assault Cannons. Looking forward to using these. I've not used these in a pair before. Obviously, they can deploy separately and walk around, do their own thing, but I'm looking forward to getting them both on the board. Fast attack, I'm taking my Xiphon Flyer. I love this miniature. This thing's ace. When it comes on the board, it can lay down lots of fire with its 2 twin-link las cannons and its Xiphon rotary missile system. Quite nasty, quite good fun to bring on and harass your opponent from the air. Next, fast attack, I am taking my Scimitar jet bikes. The lead guy there has been upgraded to a Volkite Charger. Again, quite nice zoom around the field, laying lots of fire down on the troops. Into heavy support, I'm taking, for the first time, my Leviathan Dreadnought. This guy comes with the Graviton Cannon and his Siege Drill and the Phosphex Launchers. So I'm looking forward to getting this guy into battle. Next, my Scorpius Whirlwind, so sitting at the back of the board, laying down lots of nice covering fire for me. And final heavy support choice is my Spartan, so the Terminators, the Praetor and the Chaplain will be riding around in this today, and they will be joined by my Lord of War, Roboute Guilliman. So he is in command of my 3,000 points of Ultramarines today, taking on Ed's Death Guard.
Hey guys, Ed here. This is my 3,000 point Death Guard army. Today we're going to be led by Typhon. We've got a Primus Medicae, a unit of 5 Death Shroud for troops. We've got a 10-man tactical squad in a Rhino, another 10-man tactical squad in a Rhino, soon to be replaced in one a bit more like that. We've got a Mortis Contemptor, as I call him, Neilbane. We have a unit of 10 veterans. These guys equipped slightly more for combat. I've given them the +1 weapon skill for this game. We have my beautiful Spartan, a favourite of all of my games. A Scorpius Whirlwind, a Armoured Proteus. Now this one was originally built, one of the first vehicles actually built for my army, and I forgot I had it, so I thought I'd bring it out today. My Lord of War today is a Fellblade. This was a gift from my friends for my 30th birthday, and we have to finish the army off. a Storm Eagle.
Contemptor Dreadnought and the Scorpius Whirlwind for the Ultramarines are on the left-hand side of the battlefield. They are staring down at the Spartan that has the HQ choice in, and a Rhino for the Death Guard. We also have a Contemptor Dreadnought. So I've kind of tried to counter this a little bit. So we've got my Contemptor, my Whirlwind, one of my Rhinos with my 10-man squad in, my Spartan, which has got my Terminators, my Praetor, my Chaplain, and Guilliman in. Looking at this side of the Death Guard's battlefield, in the middle for the Death Guard, we have the Land Raider that has the veterans in, their Scorpius Whirlwind, and another Rhino, and then the Felglaive. So to kind of counter that, I've got my Leviathan and one of my the other Contemptor Dreadnought with the Power Fist ready to hopefully go into combat. Little bit of a gap in the battlefield here for the Ultramarines as we then come across the Invictaris squad and the other Rhino hunkered down behind the building. Not sure what to do with those guys yet. I really could do with the Death Guard coming up in my face and getting nice and close so I can get my Invictaris squad into combat. I think my two main objectives are the Felglaive, that's got to die, and the Spartan down there because that has got the Warlord in. I need to get Guilliman in, I will win the game. The Felglaive has moved around a little bit, trying to get a line of sight down at the Rhino and the Invictaris squad. The Rhino has moved across a little bit. Scorpius has stayed still. Land Raider's moved up. It has not immobilised itself as it's going over the rubble of the building, heading towards the Leviathan and the Contemptor Dreadnought. Round on the right-hand side of the Death Guard's battlefield, the Rhino and the Contemptor have moved up, forming a bit of a V, Contemptor against Contemptor. And the Spartan has, in Ed's words, wiggled. He does like to wiggle. So this has got line of sight at my Spartan Rhino, but it is hull down, and my Contemptor. The Leviathan Dreadnought is down to 2 hull points. It took las cannon fire pretty much everywhere, to be quite honest. The Felglaive opened up with its 2 quad las cannons. The Land Raider opened up with its las cannon. Quite a lot of damage. Saved a lot with its invulnerable save, but unfortunately 2 got through. He's also shaken or stunned. It's one of the two, so he won't be firing the Grav Bombard next turn. My Contentor's untouched. The beam from the Felglaive opened up down here. This ruin won't stop it. Offers no cover, so my Invictaris squad were melted beyond recognition, and the Rhino has taken a hull point. That thing needs to die, and I kind of need these to get into close combat quickly, but it's going to take a couple of turns and they're going to take a lot of fire on the way in. The Death Guard Spartan opened up at my Spartan, did no damage whatsoever. And my Contemptor Dreadnought with the Chaos Assault Cannons down this side was opened up at by Death Guard Contemptor and the second las cannon from the Spartan, taking off 1 hull point, and again he is only snap firing next turn. The Contemptor has kind of stumbled forward a little bit. He's lining up his shots against the Death Guard Contemptor. Scorpius has stayed still, obviously. Spartan and the Rhino have moved around. Spartan eyeing up the Death Guard Spartan. I need to pop it. I need to get the HQ choice out. And I need to get Guilliman into combat. The Ultramarines' second Rhino that took the hit from the glaive has moved out of the building. It's lining up its side armour against the beam of death and doom. I can live with that if that goes pop, to be quite honest. The Leviathan and the Contemptor, which are probably more likely going to be the targets for the glaive because they're the biggest threat, have started their long walk up to try and get into combat. Let's go shoot stuff. Well, that was pretty uneventful. The Contemptor opened up. The other Contemptor, no damage. The Scorpius opened up the nice little cluster down here, scattered wildly. I managed to hit some rocks and some road. The only thing that really did any damage was the Spartan. The Spartan opened up, taking a hull point off the other Spartan, so 4 left. I decided to run the Contemptor and the Leviathan because they can't shoot this turn. So they went up. Contemptor went 6, Leviathan went 4. Just trying to get them a little bit closer to this horrible, nasty thing. Yeah, no assault either, so let's head over to Death Guard turn 2. The glaive has stayed still, for obvious reasons, because it's horrible. The Land Raider has moved around a little bit, trying to get a better shot at the Leviathan. Scorpius has stayed still. The Rhino that was hiding around this side of the building has moved up. Ed's reserves are on. Yep, I've now got to deal with this lovely little thing. The Rhino has also moved up as well. They're looking at putting, well, the Storm Eagle especially, as many shots down onto my Spartan as it can. It does have armoured ceramite, so the melters on the front won't get their extra dice. Contemptor has stayed still, and the driver of the Spartan shoved it into reverse and has pulled back a little bit, just trying to increase the range between the 2 Spartans and the 2 the 2 Warlord choices, actually, so that they can not get into combat as quickly. So let's go see what they can kill. Very good round of shooting from the Death Guard there. The first thing that went boom for me was my Contemptor Dreadnought. Yeah, last cannon fire and Contemptor fire from the Death Guard blew it up. So that's now gone. So that's my Skyfire out of the way. I do have reserves to come on. My Spartan is immobilised and down 2 hull points. So the grand scheme of rolling this thing forward, getting out the Primarch, destroying the Spartan and pulling out the HQ choice is now gone. So we have to think of a new plan. Down here, new mini syndrome. Yeah, the Leviathan has also gone pop. Basically just shots from last cannons from here and from there. Taking out all of the remaining hull points, and my Leviathan's gone. Brilliant. And this guy's immobilised. Brilliant. And got 1 hull point remaining. Even better. So we're heading over to the Ultramarines. Can I get my reserves on my Xiphon Flyer and my jet bikes to hopefully start to turn the tide? First of my reserves are on. My Scimitar jet bikes have come on the left-hand side of the battlefield. These guys have melt bombs, so I'm kind of thinking they might survive enough time to get up here and plant some melt bombs onto the Spartan. Obviously, my Spartan is immobilised. Now, Guilliman has decided to stay in there. He's going to direct the battle for him inside that tank for the time being, and so has the Praetor. The Chaplain and the Terminators have got out. We are eyeing up the Rhino and the guys inside it. My other Rhino has backed up a little bit away from now the roadblock that is my Spartan. The second of my reserves are on my Xiphon Flyer. So this is eyeing up the Storm Eagle, hopefully destroying it and giving me air superiority across the entire battlefield. That'd be quite nice, to be honest. I would definitely take that. So we're going to head over to do a little bit of shooting, and then we're going to go into assault with the Terminators into the Rhino. So let me tell you a little story about how poor the Ultramarines are at shooting. The Scorpius opened up at the Contemptor, getting 2 hits with its 2 blasts. Rolled a Snake Eyes for doing any damage. The Spartan opened up at the other Spartan. Yeah, did no damage there. The Melt Gun from the Contemptor that is still alive but immobilised opened up at the Land Raider. Yeah, rolled a 1. The Xiphon opened up with its las cannons and its Xiphon rotary missile launcher. Las cannons did no damage. The missiles, however, took a hull point off the Storm Eagle, so it still has 3 left. I'm hoping this is going to be a better turn with a round of combat in a Rhino. Much better for the Ultramarines in combat. Managed to get into the Rhino, blowing it up, killing off 5 of the guys inside. So at least we've done our first bit of damage to this Death Guard scum. The Storm Eagle has flown across the board, looking at my Xiphon flyer. It's going to try and get some good shots on that. Around here, the Contemptor Dreadnought has moved across through the barrier, looking at putting all these Carrious Assault shots down onto my Scimitar jet bikes. Once again, the Spartan has stayed still. Ed, seriously, can you move this thing, please? Closer.
Yeah, I moved it last turn.
You moved it backwards last turn.
That's still movement.
Yeah, technically, that is still movement. This has moved up. These guys have moved back away from the Terminators, who will obviously be charging them down if they survive the horrible beam from the glaive. Land Raider has moved up, looking at taking out my immobilised Contemptor down here, and obviously the Scorpius has stayed still. Xiphon Flyer has gone, combination of shooting from the Storm Eagle and the las cannons from the glaive, took it down, got rid of all of its hull points, it crashed and burned pretty much on the spot. Land Raider opened up with the Contemptor Dreadnought, no damage caused there. Spartan and the Scorpius opened up at my Spartan tank, taking off another 2 hull points here. I've lost 3 Terminators. 3 Terminators lost to the glaive beam. Really starting to bug me now. And the Contemptor Dreadnought with the Carrious Assault Cannons opened up at the Scimitar jet bikes, clearing off 2, found my morale check and disappeared off the board. Yeah, the Ultramarines are taking a pounding. It's going to take a lot to turn this battle around, but I am going to try my hardest. Roboute and the Praetor have gotten out of the Spartan. They're 6 inches there, looking at taking out the Contemptor Dreadnought, and then hopefully marching their way up to the Spartan, as long as I can avoid that beam of doom from the glaive tank. The Terminators that have survived have headed up towards the tactical squads that survived the explosion from the Rhino. The only thing I've really done is move the 2 Rhinos a little bit. So that one's moved, and that one's moved around the side of the building. Everything else is either immobilised or destroyed. I need to own this side of the battlefield, really. I've lost the right-hand flank of the board, but this left-hand side is still open for the taking, and their HQ choice is, or their Warlord choice is there. That is going to be the only way that I can win this battle. I need Guilliman to get into combat with the Spartan, pop the Spartan, get Typhus out, and kill him in combat. The Praetor opened up with his melt gun, hit, but only managed to roll a 1 and a 2, so I got a total of 11. Yeah, not enough. Guilliman opened up with his Arborator. It is strength 6, but it is rending. Hit twice, no damage. The Scorpius, right at the back of the battlefield, opened up at the Rhino down here, hitting it 4 times, doing 2 penetrating hits, and it is now immobilised and weapon destroyed. Yeah, that's pretty much really the only thing that happened. I did take a pot shot at the Land Raider with the Contemptor's melt gun. No damage done down there. So it's going to be over to Assault. Terminators going into the Tactical Squad, and Roboute and the Praetor going into the Contemptor Dreadnought. Bit more like it from the Ultramarines. The Terminators made it into combat with the Tactical Squad, killing them all off. So, yeah, so these guys have moved up 5 inches in their consolidating move. I'm trying to pin this Spartan in the corner. Roboute killed off the Contemptor Dreadnought in combat. Unfortunately, I lost my Praetor to Overwatch shots. The Praetor went in first to absorb all the shots. Had 2 wounds put on him, and I rolled Snake Eyes. Yeah, don't want to talk about that. But Roboute is now free to move up, and with the help of the Terminators, if they survive, hopefully crack open the Death Guard Spartan. The Storm Eagle has entered hover mode for some unknown reason. The immobilised Contemptor Dreadnought is annoying Ed, and he wants it to die, so that's what the Storm Eagle is going to try and do this turn. The Felglaive has actually moved. It's actually started up its engines and has moved forward. I don't like the line that beam is travelling. That's a Spartan, a Rhino, and my Scorpius Whirlwind, all in the line of that. Yeah, we'll see what happens after. Land Raiders moved up, looking towards my Terminators in the back. The Scorpius obviously stayed still. The squad that was in the immobilised Rhino have got out. They have got nice rapid fire shots at the Terminators. I think again Ed is determined to kill these guys off. And finally, out of the Spartan steps the Death Shroud. So basically these guys are forming a wall between Guilliman and the Spartan, and Typhus inside. So I'm going to have to go through them before I can get to pop open the tank, before I get to the HQ choice. So if could end up turn 6 that we could be in combat with each other, and he would have to die for me to win the game. Storm Eagle completed its mission. What he wanted to do was take out that Contemptor. It has done so, removing all of the hull points. The Felglaive opened up with its beam weapon, taking the Rhino down another hull point, unfortunately destroying the Spartan tank. There's nobody in it, but yeah, it still died. Down here, I lost 2 Terminators to the overwhelming firepower of the tactical squad. And Roboute has also taken 2 wounds. He's got 4 left. That was from the fire from the Death Guard Spartan. The Rhino, with 1 hull point remaining, has moved up. It did not immobilise himself on the building, which is always nice. The guys inside are staying in this turn. The other Rhino, however, has dropped off its 10-man tactical squad. They are all within, not rapid fire range, but they're all within range of the Death Shroud Terminators. So 9 shots. Bolt pistol from the Sergeant isn't going to reach. Going into the Death Shroud, they who have got Roboute and the Chaplain coming towards them. So the plan is bolters into these, hopefully clean 1 or 2 off. Chaplain into assault with these. Roboute might be free then to head towards the Spartan. That is kind of my plan. So I've managed to do 1 wound onto the Death Shroud Terminators. Basically everything opened up. Plasma pistols, bolters, Scorpius Whirlwind. Scorpius scattered backwards, hit the Spartan. But one of the flips on the template managed to hit this guy here, little Jeff, in the back. No wounds done though, unfortunately. It was actually bolters that actually managed to do 1 of the wounds. So it's going to be over to assault. Can the Chaplain get in, disrupt these Death Shrouds, leaving Roboute a free run at the Spartan? The Chaplain went to go into the Death Shroud Terminators and unfortunately took 10 wounds off their flamers and died horribly. So I had to send Roboute in. Now Roboute only did 4 wounds, but it was enough to kill off 3 of them. Ed did save 1. So was tied up in combat with 2 Death Shroud Terminators. Has that cost me the game? Am I going to get chance to get into the Spartan and open it up? I've got to kill these off in Ed's turn. Hopefully this will not drive away. If it does, maybe immobilise itself on a building. Not drive too far away for me to get into combat with it. That's going to be my biggest concern. Storm Eagle still in hover mode, has moved around, so has the Felglaive and has the Land Raider. Pretty much everything on that side of the battlefield is irrelevant. Everything on this side of the battlefield is kind of irrelevant now. It's all coming down to this fight. So, in preparation for it, Ed has taken out the Primary Medicae from the Spartan. He's going to join in here. The tactical squad out of the immobilised Rhino are looking at joining in as well, which is going to mean split attacks. It's going to mean I've got to try and free Guilliman up this turn in Ed's turn to get me into that in my turn 5 to hopefully destroy it, get Typhon in turn 6 and win the game. Yeah, it's a lot of bodies I've got to go through, but it's a Primarch. He could do it, maybe. So let's go over to shooting. I'm sure that Felglaive and the Beam of Doom is going to wipe out this tactical squad. Yeah, I don't care. It's all about this. Scorpius Whirlwind has gone. The Ultramarines Bombardment cover fire has gone to the Storm Eagle. Last cannons on that doing the damage down here, destroying it. The Rhino that was had 1 hull point left went to the last cannons from the Land Raider. The squad jumped out. The Scorpius and the Death Guard opened up at them, scattered wildly. All of them are alive and intact. Can't really say the same for the other squad, who died to the beam of doom from the Felglaive all the way down there. Yeah, horrible thing, defagulate and everything. I think I might have to get one of them. But that is everything shot. Let's head over to Assault. Everybody made it into combat, the tactical squads and the Primus Medicae. No wounds done either way. Guilliman didn't do anything, and neither did the Death Guard. As we head over to Ultramarines turn 5, I think that result in combat has possibly just cost me the game. I've got my turn 5 and my turn 6 left to pop this Spartan and kill off Typhus. The tactical squad that were blasted out of the Rhino with no hull points left have moved up. They are looking at joining their Primarch. They're looking at being some reinforcements in this combat down here. I'm hoping to get them in. It's an 8-inch charge. So I'm hoping to get them into the tactical squad, killing a few of these guys off and freeing up Guilliman. Well, that went quite well. Roboute managed to kill off the Primary Medicae, and the Terminators failed their morale check and ran away, chased down by Roboute and were killed. He's consolidated up towards the Spartan. The tactical squad were also killed off by a combination of, well, just the tactical guys really, killed them off. They ran away and were charged down by these guys. So I am free. Yeah, can I get into Assault in turn 6 and blow this tank up? However, I am fully aware that there is a beam weapon and there's a Primarch with 3 wounds left on the board. It's going to go one of 2 ways. He's going to make it in, or he's going to die. The Storm Eagle, the Land Raider and the Felglaive have all moved. The beam is looking at hitting my Primarch and my tactical squad. I'm kind of thinking this guy's looking at shooting the Primarch. Spartan's kind of moved a little bit, I'm guessing, so they can lay down lots of fire. 3 wounds left, lots of firepower to survive. I'm hoping I do it. So basically, I lost my Primarch and the remaining tactical squad just from the weight of fire from the Glaive, the Land Raider, the Storm Eagle, the Spartan tank. So there is now 0 way that I can win this battle, because all I have left is a Rhino. So then guys, that is the end of the game, and it is a comfortable win for the traitorous scum that is Death Guard. Roboute Guilliman has been dragged back to McCrag by any surviving Ultramarines to go sit in stasis for a couple of days, just recover. But yeah, that is the end of the game. It was a bit of a bloodfest from the Ultramarines' point of view. Death Guard, not so much. I think Ed has got revenge for us taking out his Solar Auxiliary in a couple of battle reports there by bringing his Death Guard back onto the channel. And it's always good to see them on here. I do love Ed's Death Guard. So as always, guys, please leave us a like. It does really help out the channel. Leave us a comment. It'd be great to hear your feedback. And as always, we will see you on the next one.